Hey, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to continue our series on the Dell PowerEdge R940xa server. In this video we're going to specifically discuss drives. So let's get going. Hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R940xa server. Do us a favor, if you find anything that helps you in this video, click that like and smash that subscribe. Alright, well, let's hop in. Now, this video is going to be specifically dedicated to drives. We're going to go over hard drives and solid-state drives. We're not really going to touch too much on M.2s or PCIe cards. We're really more focused on the U.2s or the drives that go into the front. So that's really what we're going to focus on. And what we're going to do in this video as a whole is we're going to start by discussing the compatible types of drives. Then we're going to discuss the types of speeds and sizes and really where the max is for each of those. And then we're going to show you how to physically install them, which is super easy because it's a hot swap server. And then at the very end, we're going to show you two testing tools that we like. One, Dell Diagnostics, which is great because not only does it test the drive, it tests your whole server just to make sure that everything is working as it should be intended, is fully functioning. And then we're going to show you a cool tool that we like called HD Sentinel, which is a standalone tool that we'll set up on an array and we'll actually pop in drives before we ever put them into a live production environment and just make sure that they are a good functioning drive. It'll check the health score of the drive and the power on hours, especially if you're buying a used drive. We highly recommend it just to see what kind of drive you're really dealing with. So, all right, let's hop into the good stuff. All right, well, let's start with the types of compatible drives for the R940xa server. There are 5 types of compatible drives. You can use a SATA hard drive, a SAS hard drive, a SATA solid-state drive, or a SAS solid-state drive, or an NVMe solid-state drive. But really, the NVMe solid-state drive will only work with one type of chassis, which is the 4-bay NVMe chassis. So if you have an 8-bay chassis or a 24-bay chassis or a 32-bay chassis, it will not work. You do need to have the 4-bay NVMe, so I did want to point that out, but we're still going to cover the NVMe for the people that do have that at home. All right, well, let's hit the speed. So for a SATA hard drive, you're going to get 7.2K RPM. That's going to be really what you're going to get. That's the predominant speed for SATA. There's technically some other ones that are out there, like their surveillance industry sometimes uses a slower speed, like 5400 speed or 5900 speed or something like that. But really for SATA, 99+% of them nowadays are going to be 7.2K speed. Now with a SAS hard drive, you're going to get a little bit faster. You can still get 7.2K, but you can get 10K or 15K, which is the advantage for a SAS hard drive over a SATA hard drive is basically just that it's going to be faster for you. Now for a SATA solid-state drive, you're going to get 6 gigabit per second, and for a SAS solid-state drive, you're going to get 12 gigabit per second, whereas with an NVMe, you're going to get 16 per second. So again, it just depends on what you're looking for. Obviously with NVMe, it's just known for being faster in general, but since it's only for one type of chassis, we really recommend if you're looking for speed, using SAS solid-state drives. It's going to be your best performance overall and your fastest speed. It's going to cost a little bit more than the SATA solid-state drives, but still it gives you a better performance, so it just depends on what you're looking for. So if you're looking for performance, that's what we recommend. All right, let's talk about sizes. For a SATA hard drive, you can put in 2 terabytes. For a SAS hard drive, you can put in 2.4 terabytes. For a SATA solid-state drive, you can put 7.68 terabytes. For a SAS solid-state drive, you can also put 7.68 terabytes. And for an NVMe solid-state drive, you can get 15.36. So NVMe will be the highest storage on a per drive basis. But obviously, since there's only 4 bays, you can get higher scalability overall if you're using a 24-bay or 32-bay chassis and you want to pop in some 7.68 SAS solid-state drives. That'll be a great solution overall. All right, well, now that we know a little bit more about the types of compatible drives, the speeds, and the sizes, let me show you how to physically install them, which again will be super easy because they're hot swap. But before we do, I'm going to grab my ESD gear. Be right back. All right, got my ESD gear on. We are safe to work on our machine. So let's say you have the bezel on front. You're just going to push your button right here and just simply pull the bezel out. So in this case, we have a couple of drives installed right now. So it depends on if you're adding drives or removing drives to replace them. So let's just say we were removing this drive right here. You're just going to want to push the red circle. It's going to pop open, and we're just going to simply pull this out. And then we're going to upgrade this and put in a 1.92 TB. This is just a SATA 6 gigabit per second drive. And we're just going to go ahead and pop this in. So you just want to line the drive up. And we're just going to slide this in. And when it gets to this point where it stops, you just pull or push this up. and you'll see it's nice and flush and it's firmly in there. And when you have your machine on, it'll actually light up and it'll show you that it's been installed and pop up into your system. So that's it. That's how easy it is to remove an old drive and then to install a new drive. And if you're looking for any upgrades or any solid state drives, do us a favor and check out our website. We have a ton of options for the Dell PowerEdge R940xa server. And so if you need SAS SATA, if you need 1.92 TB, if you need 7.68, 15.36 for NVMe, we have the gambit of all the different options, and we'd love to help you out. So please email us at sales@cloudninja.com. So all right, now what we're going to do next is show you two testing tools that we really like, Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel.
Hey guys, this has been the Cloud Ninjas, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to test your hard drives and solid state drives with Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel. Both Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel are great tools for not just testing your hard drives, but for testing all of the other components in your system. Specifically, Dell Diagnostics will test more than just your hard drives. It'll go ahead and test your graphics card, your CPU, your memory, your RAID card, your network card, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's a really neat tool that allows you to be able to see whether your system is in good health or not. And then HD Sentinel in particular will just test your hard drives, but you can see things like the power on hours. It'll give you like a health score to tell you like how much life the drive still has. So it is a really cool tool. Both of them are very easy to use, provide a lot of information, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use both of them. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to go ahead and get started with Dell Diagnostics. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and boot up your server. Once you boot up your server, you want to go ahead and press F10, and this will go ahead and bring us into the Lifecycle Controller. Once we're in Lifecycle Controller, we can go ahead and scroll down to where it says Hardware Diagnostics, and then we want to go ahead and click on Run Hardware Diagnostics. And then you'll get this little warning right here. So it's just going to say it's going to take several minutes, so we can go ahead and accept that. And this will load us into Dell Diagnostics. So actually getting into Dell Diagnostics and actually running the test is pretty simple. So we're just going to let these tests run, and these tests can take several minutes up to several hours. So go ahead and just wait this out. If you're familiar with 12th gen and 13th gen Dell PowerEdge servers, you'll notice that this looks very, very different. In the 12th gen and 13th gen, you can actually see the different tests on the left-hand side of the screen, and you have a lot more information on the middle of the screen. And it's just a lot more simpler of a screen, but it's just going to go ahead and run through all of these tests. And at the bottom, you can pause these tests if you want, and then you can also see like what test specifically is running at that current time, an estimate of how much time is left for that test. So like I said, these tests are going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. So once that final test has stopped running, it'll go ahead and stop, and then we will get a message that pops up on the screen that says success. So this means all of our tests have passed. If you had any issues, then you would get an alternative message saying like, hey, these tests failed. And at the very end here, we can actually view all of the information and all the different tests that were ran. And this screen's a little bit more similar as to something we'd see on 12th gen and 13th gen PowerEdge servers. But yeah, we can go through here, see all the test results for each individual test, which is pretty neat. The information about the system health, the configuration, and we can even go into the event log, which is pretty useful. So that is how we do Dell Diagnostics and how we can test our hard drives, but also, everything else in our system. And if you really want to see if your system is healthy, then go ahead and run Dell Diagnostics. It'll give you a lot of information if all the components are working the way that they should. So now I'm going to show you how to test your hard drives with HD Sentinel. Alrighty guys, so I have HD Sentinel pulled up right now, and as you can see, we currently have 2 drives plugged in. We have this installed into a storage array where we like to plug in multiple drives at a time so we can test those drives. HD Sentinel is an awesome tool because you can see things like the power on hours, which is great, especially when you're buying used equipment. You can see how long that drive has been in use. You don't want to be using drives that have been, heavily used, because then you have a higher risk of drive failure. And that's one of the reasons why HD Sentinel is such such a cool tool. But as you can see, we can just go ahead and plug a drive into the array and it'll automatically populate within the software. Like I said, lots of information. It'll give you health scores of the drives. As you can see, the two we have up top, they have 100% health score, while the one at the bottom has a 99%. So all pretty good. If you found this video useful, go ahead and leave a like and smash the subscribe. And if you're interested in purchasing a custom built server, whether it's Dell, HP, Supermicro, Cisco, we have plenty in stock. We also have AMD Ryzen servers, AMD EPYC servers, Intel Xeon scalable servers. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and email us at sales@cloudninjas.com. That's sales@cloudninjas.com. Take care, guys.